Welcome to another episode of Zero Ales and Hockey Tales with Wally. And today I am so excited to have on a 47-year-old from Cardiff, Wales. He is a Shed legend and returns for the fourth time after episodes 123, 163, and 213 have combined for 3,190 goals, plays, or listens. He has been helping the Devils win any way he can since 92. Other than 14 games with the Telford Tigers, folks, but we'll forgive him for that. But that was back in 97, 98. As a player, laced up for Team Great Britain with and without skates, playing in the World Juniors and for the ball hockey squad. With my Devils as a player, bench coach, assistant coach, co-coach, director of hockey ops, accumulated 3 Challenge Cups, 1 KO Cup, 2 BHL championships, a playoff championship, and a Super League title. And folks, was a big part of a bunch of league titles, as you know, whatever his title was then. He is Cardiff Devils royalty, but we all know he was a rat on the ice and didn't play me enough. So I had to drop the mitts with him just before the New School Devils won the championship at the Matthew Myers Testimonial. Welcome back to my shed, Neil Francis.
Hey, good morning, Wally.
Good morning, sir. How are you today?
It's an early one for you.
Yeah, busy times.
I'm good.
Busy times.
Yeah, gotta squeeze these things in whenever we can, eh?
Right. And I always say, if you don't do your best and things don't work out, then I guess it's on you, right? And you know what I'm trying to do this week, Franny, is I had my under 9 gals on, and I promised them that there'd be some teams in the UK that are going to win their playoff series this weekend and chuck chocolate on the ice, or their home games and chuck chocolate all over the place. There's going to be a chocolatey storm in the UK. And then my under 9 gals can feel really special that it was because they came to the shed, right?
Yeah, no, I'd love that to be in Cardiff this weekend. And I was looking at the video you posted about all the montage of the chocolate episodes from around the league, and it's just, well, around the world, I think. It's not just our league. It's amazing.
Isn't
amazing
it?
what's come from the shed.
Yeah, like it's sometimes hard to believe that that's actually real life, that's happened from talking to my shed. But yeah, herring. So I guess well, it started in Cardiff when we got the Twix thrown on the ice for Matt Carruth after he had them in Hungary. Then we had Kit Kat Get That in Sheffield, right? We got Fun Band forever, I think. I don't know.
Fun Police came out, yep.
Yeah, it's all over there, folks. And then Manchester, they remind me of us, Franny. The arena.
They do, I know.
The young squad that's, all underpaid. They should all be paid more. Right?
Yep.
I saw a couple things that they get paid in chocolate, that's funny.
Yeah, and you got Finner there. Obviously, he had a link to the tent. He played for Cardiff in the tent, and Matt Ginn, their coach, is I met him last year. Super, super nice guy, and he's done a great job this year too. So yeah, I got a soft spot for Manchester too.
And he's a first-year coach, right? Just like Lorda was with us in 14, 15,
yep.
Got to support those guys.
No ties back.
Yeah. You got to support the good guys. Anyways, I get into how we know each other. Well, I don't even know where to start. What I want to happen though, folks, is in Cardiff. I'm up at 5:30 a.m. to talk to Freddie. I'd do that any day of the week, but I wanted to get this in there and out there just in case you get people, don't want to listen to me and the gals chat earlier this week, is that we want a chocolatey storm in Cardiff. My gals want all the chocolate thrown on the ice, for your team and for my team, right? The fellas will deserve it if they make it to Nottingham. And, well, my gals deserve it because they ran amok this season, So make it happen, Shed family, wherever your team is, right?
Yeah. And just saying, if there was a mint arrow in there, then I might be interested in
a mint arrow. Is that? I've never heard of that one. Really?
Yeah. It's like the chocolate with the little bubbles in it, but it's the mint version.
Well, folks, if there's a mint arrow on the ice, we know that's for I guess life servant of the Devils, Neil Francis, right?
There we go.
What's with this 14 games in Telford? I don't know if I've really talked to you about this. I thought you were a Devil for life. You actually left.
Well, yeah, I was. Yeah, somebody somewhere thought they could do without me. So it was the year after the very first Super League. So the Super League came in, and there was all these club owners. The guy in Newcastle owned Newcastle United Football Club, and he wanted to make a sporting empire. And everyone was getting like way carried away in terms of how big they thought they could take hockey and too quickly. And they were basically phasing out the British players and bringing in highly paid guys from all over the world. Anyway, that first year we win the first ever Super League, so it's gone up another notch in levels of playing standard. We win it, and I think I started off in the third line, and then we brought in guys like Steve Thornton halfway through the year, who were great players. Ended up on the fourth line, but still played a good role, good support role. And I'm going into my exit meeting. Basically, I've got a number in my head that I'm not taking any less than. And it didn't even get that far. They're just like, well, we're not bringing you back next year because they are relaxing the rule on imports, and
we're gonna have even
we're
more.
Yeah, we're gonna have even more. And we've got some guys that are going to be studying at Cardiff Uni that are coming over from Europe, and the whole Bosman thing kicked off, where a European could work in the UK same as I could. So they didn't even offer me a contract. So I
know what that's
I
like.
had to go somewhere. Yeah.
No, that hurts though.
Yeah,
And that sucks
yeah,
though when they were like, you'd think in British hockey you'd want some British hockey players. Right?
would, yeah. And I think they sort of figured that out as they as the years went on, and that league didn't work when it went kind of unlimited, and
Everybody went
a
tits
lot of
up.
teams went bust.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so you did leave,
but
That would have felt weird.
It did, yeah. I was pretty bitter about that, especially because I'd had a good year the year before, done everything that had been asked of me, and it felt bitter. And I went away to Telford. Didn't really like it there. The coach that signed me actually left the day before the season started. Had a disagreement with the owner, so that wasn't a good start either. And I just never settled there. So I ended up coming back halfway through that year and played for the Cardiff Rage, which was the kind of the
It
B
looked like
team in
this.
Cardiff.
It looked like the same league that you had been playing in, though, in Telford, on the
It
research
was,
team.
yeah, it was. Yeah,
So why
we were
didn't you
put in
just
there
go
when we were a
there
young
from the
team, and
start? Too proud? Why'd you go to Telford to start with? Why'd you just go to the Rage?
well, Telford were paying and the Rage weren't paying. That's the
Yeah.
thing. That the Rage were an amateur team in a professional league,
Yeah.
an 8 import league, and it actually ties in well to some relevance of this weekend. And shed guy Jonathan Phillips is obviously retiring. That's where he first got his start in the Cardiff Rage. He was 15. He was my teammate. He was 15 years old.
Really?
So we played on a team there. Yeah.
It looked
Yeah,
like
and I
you
think I
ran
was the
amok with
second
the
oldest
Rage.
guy.
You had over a
Yeah,
point a
yeah.
game.
I
I'd
was
say
like
that's
second oldest.
uncommon. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I was like the second oldest guy on the team, but I was like 21. So, relied on to do a bit of everything. But yeah, I mean, the one thing that the Rage did is brought on some Cardiff youngsters that then ended up going on to have big careers, like Jonna, and we actually presented him with a Rage jersey on the ice on
Is that
Sunday,
what that was? A Rage
yeah,
jersey? I saw
yeah.
that. So it's a small world in the shed, folks. I get sent pictures of what's going on in the hockey world. I got my finger right on the pulse of this thing now. And I got sent a picture of you and Corky giving him a jersey. And it was a Sheffield fan and said, Wally, you'll love this. This is hockey. And it's so true, right?
Yeah, it was. And
what
fair
a
play to
beauty he is.
John rang. Yeah. He rang me next day, and his mum has reached out to say thanks for the kind of tribute to him. So he ended up with a Rage jersey, which was 25 years old. So amazing, we managed to find that.
Was it actually his jersey,
yeah.
or was it just a Rage jersey?
Yeah, his jersey.
You found it from 25 years ago?
Yeah, where it all started, yeah. And we also got him a nice bottle of Welsh whiskey and some crystal glasses to go with it. So
you
yeah,
didn't
well
listen to him
though.
about
what a career he said.
You didn't listen to him about the Toblerones though. He said he liked Toblerones. Just I think I don't know. There's been a lot of chocolate requested in the shed, but I'm pretty sure he said Toblerones.
Yeah.
But that's fine. I'm sure I like the whiskey too.
Yeah, I'm sure that'll make up for it. He can go
Uh,
get his own Toblerone.
but speaking of how Manchester reminds me of the ragtag Cardiff Devils from back in the day, the BBT is now called the Castle.
Yeah,
And they just had a chocolatey store with Leeds. And you know
they
what's
did, yeah.
interesting is like I see this video of all this chocolate hit the ice, and just a short weeks earlier, I got sent a video, and it was winning is fun, fun is fun. And it showed the Leeds arena, and I'm like, is that the big blue tent? And it showed the fans, and they're all cheering. And the video got sent directly to me. And then just a few short weeks later, I get sent all this chocolate hitting the ice. And then I get sent a video of where the chocolate came flying out of. And it's the same seats of that arena. As a few weeks earlier was winning is fun and fun is fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't really,
where Manchester,
I can't fully say
like
it was me
the
though.
Brother. No?
Oh, I don't know. I think it's because of the shed. I think it was because of the shed, but nobody's actually said, you know what, we did that because yeah,
people see fun and they want to get involved.
You
They don't even
imagine?
have to be asked now.
But think about this weekend, folks, in Cardiff, right? How are you going to let Manchester have more fun than you all season, right? Like, I want to see it rain. I want to see it rain in Manchester if they beat Sheffield on the weekend at home, right? And then I think fun's banned in Sheffield still, but I don't know. I think all they can do is kick you out. But I didn't say
chocolate
that.
there.
But then, like, we come back to Cardiff and we're playing that Danny Stewart, that punk that used to chirp me all the time during the games for no apparent reason. I think that we should win and then just cover the ice in chocolate, you know?
I would love that. Yeah.
And then I can show the video to my gals, right?
Yeah. So this is for you girls.
Mint arrows, folks.
Yeah, let's get on board.
Yeah.
Mint arrows.
Okay, but I think it's really cool that the BBT is called the Castle. Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
That's
awesome. Amazing that thing's still going, let alone survive being transported up north.
It was on its last legs there in the Cardiff Bay, wasn't
it?
I think it needed a bit of a reno, and it looks like they did a fantastic job. It looks similar, but it looks like a sweet barn to play in Leeds.
It's a castle.
Another way we know each other. Well, we're both playing hockey against each other soon, and the last time that happened, we got in a brawl.
Yeah, we did. Yeah. Who knows? It might happen again. You never know. Get your tickets, folks.
Folks, I'm playing a skilled game this year. Franny ripped my shoulder pads apart. I'm coming, no shoulder pads, all skill.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there, but dad's strength came in, I think. I never had that when I was playing.
I think it was because you're getting really embarrassed that you couldn't get my jersey off, and then you just ripped my whole shoulder pads apart.
It did get stuck, didn't it? Yeah.
It was funny, though, when there were kids crying in the crowd because they thought you were, like, really beating me up.
People were mad at me after the game.
Well, so Batchies should be fun, eh? I mean, I can't believe we're doing it again.
I know. Yeah, no, looking forward to that.
Yeah, it's really.
And I'm actually looking forward to the after party more than the actual game.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. You think I'm excited about playing hockey? I've done enough of that in my lifetime.
Maybe I think we should maybe record the live episode of 2 Hours on Hockey Tales. Like
in
that bathroom would have made
Dorothy's bathroom
episode, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Oh yeah, it would have. It would have. It was a great chat.
Live from Chippy Lane. Live.
We were having talks about injuries. We were talking about other people and what they won't play through and stuff like that. And then we were talking about recruiting shed
John
guys.
Revealed his toe, didn't he?
His toes and his lump, his chest. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I didn't know. I think the toes were more gross than like the big bones sticking out of his chest that he had played through. That was crazy.
And his dislocated rib cage, but the toes worse.
But like when he was showing us that, and I'm not saying anything bad about nobody because I'm not naming names, But when we were having that conversation in that bathroom, and he's like, I played for weeks like this with a broken sternum and what have you, like collapsed lung and whatever. Then they were talking about when they got put out of playoffs, they had a player that didn't play because he had a broken pinky finger. And Jono was playing through like a car crash, and then they have an import say he can't play because of a broken pinky. I just think that's funny, right? Because you're on the same team and one guy's doing that and you're doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's the thing. John probably didn't let anyone know about his broken sternum, and then the guy with the pinky is probably walking around showing everybody.
Yeah. It's throbbing. Another way we know each other though, is I do have a raffle from the Matska night. Is I have a raffle that's ending like this weekend, folks, right when all the chocolate's gonna happen. It's a Kenton Smith jersey from the Matska night, and I'm donating half the money to ALS and half the money to Rich's Road to Recovery, who is a Sheffield Steelers fan. We won't hold that against him because I like the Steelers too now, especially when they would open up fun again, you know. And Mosey, Shed guys running amok, and Jonna, you know. I cheer for Shed guys now, you know.
And hockey communities always come together, don't they? It doesn't matter about the rivalries, but when it comes to doing good things for good people, hockey communities always come together.
Yeah, and that's at aleshockeytales.com, folks. Buy your tickets. That it's ending soon. And I'm not very good at marketing, so I haven't sold many tickets this time, you know. But so buy some tickets this week, folks, and buy your chocolate, right? And rumor has it at Batchy's testimonial game, Stevie Lyons pulled this off for me, that he's sponsored by Jersey, but that is putting my logo on the jersey. So my 18 Walton Batchy testimonial jersey will have a 2 Ales and Hockey Tales logo on the back. That's cool, you know.
That is cool, yeah.
And folks, I'm
you're
pretty sure
a real thing now.
I think it's a real thing now because we're having a raffle to raffle off that jersey before I come to help pay for Shed Guys travel fees to get there, you know, to the Batchy fund. Yep. So I asked for an extra one for myself so I could put it up in my shed too, you know. And I also want Ra's number 18 jersey. So don't forget that, Raheem. It better. I need one when I get over there to bring back and put up in the shed. Number 18 Cardiff Junior Devils, right? That's cool.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. That is cool.
That is cool. Okay. And the other say, we'll get into poster pics. The selfie you have with the couple in the 2 Ales and Hockey Tales outfits, eh?
Yeah, I love that. I turn around behind the bench and I see it. Then I was like, I have to take that.
Yes, you do. Yeah, you do. That's a fantastic selfie. And another poster pic that was a fantastic selfie, which I gotta have my selfie with the baby from last year. That when I got there, had a 2 Ales and Hockey Tales onesie on, and I got a selfie during warm-ups with the baby at the glass. So we're going to do that selfie again when I come over, you know. But you did a selfie with the fans, like a lot of Devils fans. That was a cool selfie. To me, that looked like the Belfast arena. Is that right?
It was, yeah. It was Belfast. There's like 500 Devils fans, and I think it's the year we won. Pretty much, it almost guaranteed us to win the league. We went 2 wins across in that double header, and it was a good time. So I thought I'd capture the moment with the world's biggest selfie.
That Belfast team and Kiefer are causing some problems for us these days, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. They I mean they look dead and buried, to be fair, around Christmas time in 5th place, and then getting Bescoani back was huge for them. He's just gone, you know, I think 94% save, 1.4 goals against for the last 30 odd games. So that was a big thing. Yeah, they brought in quite a few extra guys as the season went on and just took over.
Yeah. Well, playoffs, anybody can win though, right? Everybody that made it to the playoffs. It's just the home and home still, right? Combined score.
That's it.
That's it.
Like no matter what season you've had, it's a fresh slate now. It's
and in my opinion, home ice doesn't mean anything, right? You each play one home game, so it's kind of weird.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Last year we lost our home game, and then we had to go up to Glasgow and beat them on their home ice to go through.
Yeah.
it was a bit dicey for a bit, and we went like 53 minutes without. It was 0-0 after 53 minutes. It was getting a bit tight, and then two late goals we get through, and then obviously we win it.
Well, I tell you, it's strange though. You play all regular season, it's a big deal, and then you just each play a home game. I mean, in hockey, usually one team gets one more home game, for doing better in the regular season. But I
Yeah,
guess
I mean that's
those
what
the
I'd like to
rules.
see. I'd like to see it become best of three,
Yeah.
and if it is 1-1 after the first two games, then you go to a midweek third game, and obviously the top seed gets the home game. That's what I'd like to see. I mean, it's
Mhm.
if
Then
we've
it
had a
would.
bad night on that first game, it's tough, and that we've nearly been bitten a few times on that. But
Well, and I think regular season should matter a bit, right? And just because you get the second leg of the two legs, that is not home ice. That's just playing the second game of two. Right? I think. But
yeah, and not every top seed is taken. They get the choice, but not every top seed is taken the second leg as their home game.
you're right. It's kind of like
Yeah,
yeah, it's like in football, the team that decides to get the ball kicked to them right off the start or whatever, right? It's like if you
yeah,
take the home
yeah,
game and you take the lead, then you feel pretty good, right?
yeah, yeah. And that's last year we were hoping to do that. Take the home game, get the lead, make Glasgow travel twice because obviously they had to come down to us and then go back. So they traveled twice, and then then hopefully hold on to the lead in Glasgow. But it went wrong on the first night, so we ended up losing that game and had a bit more to do. But maybe the travel did come in and factor in our late sort of comeback.
Well, speaking of shed guys, and I cheer for shed guys, is Stephen Dixon led the Glasgow Clan from like way behind everybody this season to the playoffs, eh?
Yeah. Oh, they were dead and buried. They were in 10th place, didn't win a game for so long, and then
Oh,
ended up
so long. I
after
can't
they
believe
make
they
the
made the
changes
playoffs.
and yeah, I know. Yeah.
Good.
No, fair play to them.
Yeah. So good luck, Dicko, right?
I think he definitely injected a bit of fun there. He definitely injected a bit of fun there,
Oh
knowing
yeah, he's a
Dicko.
fun guy, isn't he? Yeah, he lives. Um, yeah,
Yeah,
and
super
I'll
fun.
get
He's
to
on one
play
of my
hockey
poster
with him.
picks.
I know, poster picks, but we'll see him at
Yeah,
Batchy's testimonial. That's
yeah,
going to be a time. But you did send a picture
yeah.
of you and Dicko with medals on, and it looked like you guys were like winning's fun and you were celebrating.
Yeah, we were in one. We were FaceTime. Well, we were sending a video message to Stu McRae. So Stu McRae was captain of the Devils back in the day, and he's from the same spot as Dicko. And I think they briefly played together in Dicko's younger career. So we decided to like FaceTime him. He didn't answer, so we recorded a video, and it was pretty
Those are
funny to watch it the next day. Yeah,
Well, those are fun videos though for the guys that are out
yeah,
of the game and just are back home and don't have as much going on. When you get videos like that of guys out there in the hockey world having fun, it can bring back a memory, you know?
yeah. Especially two different guys that you know from two different spots, and they're together in one
Exactly. Yeah.
celebrating. Yeah,
Shed guys, no shed guys, right? Okay.
yeah.
Um, poster pics, Speedos. You were in a Speedo and
Mm.
I never you've always been pretty skinny to me. You looked jacked. You were thicker than now. You were muscular. Were you on steroids?
No, that was a season. I think I decided I had to get myself into shape to prolong my career. It was coming towards the end, so I needed to hit the gym. But that was a team night out, like the Halloween fancy dress party. And those were my two housemates, and we decided to go as swimmers in Speedos. And
Hopefully it was
we
a
spent
warm
the
night
whole
out.
night in Cardiff City set. Well, no, it was Halloween, so it's October 31st. So it was freezing. And we ended up down Chippy Lane dressed exactly like that.
Really? And it was cold
Just
out.
that.
Hopefully you're still
Speedos,
filling the
Speedos.
Speedo if it's cold.
Yeah, they were padded Speedos, yeah.
You were wearing a cup just to been to
Yeah.
Chippy Lane lately? Yeah, yeah. Got anything ordered from Chippy Lane lately? You grown up?
Do you know what the I did go to Chippy Lane earlier in the season and ended up with Mark Lewis. It was me and him, ended up in Chippy Lane. And I heard somebody mention on one of your episodes about Fellas. And you're like, what's this Fellas place? And I'd never heard of it. And I thought someone had got the name wrong, but it's actually a new spot there. So, and it's got loads of bright lights as well. So it kind of lures you in. And as soon as I saw Fellas, I was like, well, I gotta find out what
So
Fellas is all about.
what was
Pretty
it?
good.
What was it? Like what
Might be a spot for you when you come back for batchies.
they got kebabs? They eating are they shaving meat off sticks?
It was like yeah.
Oh dear.
Yeah, yeah, they're doing that kind of thing. So they've got like, nice like naan bread wraps kind of thing, and fill it all with the meat and the salad and the sauces and
Yeah.
mixed meat. You get
Yeah.
a bit of choice of everything, and it's
A bit early to talk dirty
it's
to me, Franny. It's a bit early.
yeah,
Yeah.
but that can be one of the nights that you go to Chippy Lane. That can be
I'm pretty
you
sure I'll
can
be
try
there.
it for yourself.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I'll be there. And you know what? It was speaking of like videos from other places in hockey, guys. It was really hard for me last week. I was invited to go to Germany for my buddy's jersey retirement, and I couldn't make it work with already going to Cardiff, and we're doing a family trip, and I couldn't do it all. And it was really hard to know that was going on in the world. And it was like a life memory that I would have that you just don't get those days back, I don't think I doubt anybody else I played with there is going to get their jersey retired. So I think that was a one-time chance, and I didn't make it happen. You got to live while you can. I wish I was there.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, it's tough when you got to pick your spots, and the real world gets in the way, isn't it?
Right? Yeah. Next poster pick. I'm guessing this is Halloween too, but you were with a couple blow up dolls, eh?
Yeah, that was I went to Hugh Hefner. There's actually another pic that goes with that, and it's Brad Varth, who's dressed in like some weird blue suit with a big mustache, and he's in one, and I'm there like deadly serious trying to look after him, but I forget that I'm dressed as Hugh Hefner.
So did you have to carry around those dolls all night?
Yeah, they had like there was I don't know, some kind of they were attached to me somehow, so I just walk around with those blow dolls.
So people may think I'm crazy, but I think drinking beers as a team early in the season and having team fun days like those Halloween parties, I think are crucial to the team's success. Bring teams together, right?
For sure, because they always give a story that you can kind of tell for the rest of the season, and when things are a bit miserable, someone can bring it up. So yeah,
exactly. You need those memories and stories together, right? You don't need to be telling stories of all these other seasons. You need to be telling stories of your season together with the guys, right? Just thinking out loud in the
you gotta
shed.
make your own stories.
Exactly. Yeah, no, I really liked your costumes. The Speedo, I couldn't pull that off. I mean, I could, but it would be more like I was, you were jacked that year, Franny. I never thought I'd say such nice things to you, but you were in shape there. My goodness. Next poster pick. You guys were just getting out of the shower. That looks like it's at the new barn with Marshy's there and Fulks. What's that?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, so I thought I'd throw that one in because I think those guys come over for batchies. That was actually Richie's testimonial. So
I got invited to that one too, and I couldn't make it.
Yeah,
Gosh.
yeah. And the dinner before that one, they did a draft. So they had two captains up, and they drafted guys onto their teams. And Fulks' whole thing was he wanted to put together the best shower team in the league. So that was
your shower team.
In the league.
I gotcha.
Some good guys there.
I didn't know some of the other guys, but I knew Marshy and Fulks. Trying to remember who else was in that photo.
Yeah, Jared Adams. Jared Adams is in there. Alex Simmons, he's a great guy from Cardiff. He's at the front with all the tattoos and stuff. I'm trying to think who else was in the background. Did he make it in there? He might even be in there.
I don't think Deese is in there, but speaking of Jared Adams, you know what's funny about the small hockey world is he was the guy I was talking to the summer I signed with Cardiff. I would talk to Sheffield and they were talking about the NBA, but it took 2 years. And then he was moved. He told me, he's like, okay, well, we're going to talk soon about this. And then I didn't hear from him for a couple of days. And then Lordo swooped in, but he was, after I talked to him afterwards, he had been moving from Cardiff to Sheffield. And within that time, that's when Lordo was like, got me to sign. And that was it. It was done. It's a small hockey world, isn't it?
And it is, yeah, yeah. But if you do look over Jared Adams' head in that photo and Marshy's head, right in between there is Dees.
Is he?
He's the back guy
Oh,
in
well,
that shower pic. Yeah,
he is honest. He's with Team China now, eh?
in China. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Pretty, yeah.
yeah.
Interesting world, eh?
Finally got payback from all those from the takeouts he's had. Got payback.
Yeah. It's like Dees is when you talk about shed guys doing well in hockey. Dees's first year as an equipment manager was 2014-15, and he didn't even start the season with us. He came in weeks into it, and it was Todd just saying, "Hey, you want to try this out?" And then he came in the room, and that's been his career ever since, eh?
I know. How crazy is that? How that happens to a mid-season change on the equipment guy. And then Dees was,
Well, I always say fun is fun, right? Dees brought fun to the room.
Yep.
He had no problem telling people what was right and wrong and chirping people for doing stupid stuff. And he also would have fun and make it a game, right?
Yeah. And is that right? He's going to visit you this summer.
That's correct. For 2 weeks, Franny. 2 weeks.
Oh God.
Right?
Yeah.
That's
well, I'm sorry about that.
Oh, it's gonna be a time. Yeah, it's gonna be something. Yeah, it's happening right after China probably wins the gold medal, right?
Yeah, because they're winning it.
Yeah, you'd think so, but it looks the squad on paper. Okay. Other poster pick is well, you put one of Todd and Steve King, shed guys. But when you look back, the research team gets hot and it says you resign the year before I get there in October. And the Devils have been your life, right? They had been your team. And then it was so bad and obviously so disjointed and everything that you're resigning from the club you love in October. And then that you pulled off all this stuff to get Steve and Todd to take over Cardiff by the next season. And then all of a sudden you're back to being the bench coach. All of a sudden the fans are back. And then to see them on this rocket ship that like nowadays they finish in 4th place and all the fans are beside themselves, right?
Yep. Yeah. We created a monster, but we wouldn't have it any other way. Yeah. I mean, that photo is from the launch night of the new era Devils, and Steve King happened to be in the UK, so he was there in person, which was awesome because fans could hear it from him live in terms of he's what he said on that night he's held true to this day in terms of this isn't a business venture for him, this is a passion for him. Him and his the other co-owners there, they love hockey and they want to own a hockey team because they love hockey so much. And now they're the biggest Devils fans and they want nothing but the best for the team. And it's not about making money for them. The money that the club makes, it goes back into the club, which is, I mean, you couldn't ask for better guys. You
couldn't ask for better guys. And that's what, why I've still been waving the Devils flag all these years, which next poster pick, you got a Wales flag on the top of a mountain. Where's that?
That's in Davos in Switzerland. So we went there in our first CHL adventure. Played against Davos in the old barn that you see the Spengler Cup. Yep.
Yeah.
So I went across with the team for that, and as part of your hotel, kind of you get your key and they give you something else, and they give you a lift pass because it's a skiing village, basically a skiing town. So I went up the top. I went on my own actually up the top, but bumped into a bunch of Devils fans who were on the way up, and so we kind of hung out and then got to the top there, and they had a big Welsh flag and took that right at the top of the Swiss Alps.
I think the Welsh flag might be like the coolest flag going. I haven't seen many other ones cooler. Same with the national anthem. The flag and the national anthem, Wales is bringing it.
Yeah, it's got a dragon on it. Not many people have a dragon on their flag, do they?
Right. Good colors too.
Yeah.
Good colors.
Yeah.
No, it's neat. It's like, especially with the shed, and like I got to know all these flags from where people have listened from. And I think like the Welsh flag, it just says the UK. So you know what? I guess there's more countries than I say have listened, but the Welsh flag's got to be the coolest. But anywho, what was my next poster pick? I had another one. Oh, you were driving the Zamboni. What was I know you'll do anything for the
Yes.
Devils, but why were you driving the Zamboni? Oh, did you just freeze?
So
There you're
that
back.
was actually after we won the Challenge Cup. Oh, I'm back yet. That was after we won the Challenge Cup final in Cardiff when we hosted it. And I wasn't on the bench that year. I was in the hospitality, so I was probably 6, 7 beers deep. And one of the guys that was doing the hospitality, I saw him hop on the Zamboni and he did a lap. And I was like, I want to do that. I've never driven a Zamboni in my life. So Ricky, who drives the Zamboni before the Devils games, he let me on and he tutored me around, despite being quite impaired. And yeah, I was buzzing around the rink after we won the Challenge Cup final, driving the Zamboni.
So you got you got the back up. Then you're not actually flooding
No,
anything,
no, I was flooding it. Yeah, I
really?
was fully flooding it. Yeah, fully flooding it. He let me do that, and I didn't realize how close you act when you're driving down that middle strip, how close you have to go to the boards before you kind of spin it and throw it around. And especially after a few beers, it felt like I was going to go head into it. But no, he took me through it, and I got safely round uh, and did
Didn't
this
even
great
clip the boards
successfully.
at all, eh? Okay. That brings back a memory of Hoth, who just had a big night over there. And is going to Batchy's
Yep.
testimonial. But I remember when he drove the Zamboni when we were at the big blue tent, the arena staff just didn't show up or weren't there or something. So then Hoth went out like half dressed for practice and drove the Zamboni. It takes everybody to win, folks, right?
It does the things people don't see behind the scenes.
Yeah. But he just had a big night over there, eh? That I'm sure it meant a lot to him. I need to get him back in the shed to discuss.
Yeah, it was good. It was good to see Hearth, and we had a nice dinner the night before with the owners because they were in town for it, and then he had he had his night, and got the ovation that you well and truly deserved, and got to say hi and bye to the fans. So it was great and well deserved to bring him over. What a gamer Hearth is.
He is a gamer, isn't he? Like he's as competitive as people get. Oh, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Considering how he does not go to the gym and he doesn't particularly enjoy practice when it's game time, and
And
nobody else
you
is
wouldn't
around.
really say he has the smoothest skating stride in the league, but
Nope.
when it came to trying to take his puck from him or trying to beat him at anything, good luck.
Nope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He never like had a big shot either, eh? He'd always have those tricky moves of getting around dudes, and then he'd have that twisted wrister, you know?
Yep. Yeah. No, he
Scored
did,
a
and
lot of big
like
goals.
what a way for him. I was gonna say, what a way for him to go out. He gets the coast to coast game winner in Belfast to win the league, and then he follows it up with a winning goal in the Challenge Cup in the playoff finals.
And really the playoff finals too. Like he's the biggest gamer I played with. And
Yeah,
it's interesting that a guy like that totally could have still been playing for a couple of years. Like he was defenseman of the year like every year, right?
every year that he was here, which is incredible. Yeah.
Yeah, that is incredible. Another guy though that spread his wings once Hoth retired was Fortier, the Swan. He finally got to be like the number one D, and then he did all right too.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
know. He just took off, didn't he? Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I
Smooth
know.
skater that fellow was. Okay, next poster pick, the one I sent you where I zoomed in on your face with blonde hair there. What was going on there?
So again, like I guess the theme of my picks were fun and winning and going hand in hand. That was
They usually do.
an end of season awards night. Yeah, yeah. We just had our end of season awards night on Monday, but these days they're quite quiet affairs. But back then, for some reason other than fun, we decided that we would rent costumes, so 70s costumes, and we were going to show up to the awards night just dressed like that. And then somebody got wind of it and said, you cannot show up dressed like that. you cannot show up dressed like that. So we're like, okay, if we can't show up dressed like that, we'll turn up in our suits, and then we'll leave halfway through, and then we'll dress like that, because all you said is that we cannot show up dressed like that. So we didn't. So halfway through the night, we just went missing, and then walked in the room all dressed in 70s gear.
And the fun is fun, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Can't take life too seriously. You might not get out alive, right?
Yeah, we had one guy, Peter Smith, was dressed in a full-on Elvis onesie costume with the glasses and everything, just giving it.
And this was for awards night, which you guys just had. Is that something you're going to partake in? Did you hear me? This internet's my internet must suck this early in the morning.
I did.
I was going to say, so you guys just had your awards night. So you were there?
It's still waking up, isn't it?
It is. Yeah. The internet's not fresh yet. Hasn't even had its coffee yet. You know?
No, there was no dressing up there. Everyone was all dressed nicely.
Serious.
And,
yeah. Game's changed.
Although Dougie did write a poem for Joey Martin, which was a nice touch.
A poem?
Yeah, Dougie was last year's player's player.
Player's player. I thought Marty was the coach's player.
Well, no, last year now. Dougie was player's player last year, and he then presented the award this year to this year's player's player, and that was Joey Martin. Okay, no surprises there to us.
No,
and he did get coach's player as well, which again is no
so you got the players and the coach's award. Okay, now it makes sense. Okay,
yeah. And then Dougie, and as part of his kind of handover speech, he wrote him a poem.
Well, that's beautiful. Nice of him. Yeah. That Dougie's quite the character too, though. You know, even like you see, he has fun every day.
He brings the fun.
My computer is saying that my internet connection is unstable. It sounds like there's a storm going on right now, but anywho, I see the pictures the Devils take of like showing their new clothes or whatever, and like every time Dougie models for it, he's having fun, right? He's not being all serious. Good stuff.
There's no coincidence he's in most of the videos.
But Marty still got it. Players player of the year and coaches player of the year. That's a pretty neat thing to win. You like, I remember back in the day when I was in hockey, there'd be the guy trying really hard to be the coaches player of the year. And then there'd be the guys trying to be the players player of the year. I was more of the players player type of guy.
What, you didn't win coaches player? No?
I don't know. I don't know. Not all. I don't know. I don't know. Don't think I ever won one of those. Maybe I had too much fun sometimes. I don't know. Right?
Yeah. Coaches don't always like fun, do they?
No. Nope. They don't. Sometimes they don't get that you got to bring a team together. You know. I always knew what had to be done.
Yeah.
Anyways, the selfie that you took with the fans with the two ale shirts on, and then it made me think of the same selfie you took with Baz in the crowd, topless, right? Remember that one?
Yeah.
So I always talk about,
I think that was on my last poster, so yeah.
I always talk about how I know who shed guys are. I was just scrolling through Twitter one day on the crapper, and I saw a picture of some lady, I have no idea who it is, saying, I just met the most wonderful man at this hockey game. He gave my son or daughter a signed Mark Lewis stick, which was Baz's, and he had it, and he just gave it to some kid to be a nice guy. And this lady was writing how Baz is like an ultimate shed guy. And I just thought it was really neat that like he's a fan. Mark Lewis is like his favorite player, and he's just willing to give that away to a kid. Like, way to go, Baz. Keep up the good work, right?
Yeah. He's made that kid's day, hasn't he? Well, and then some. So
right, and the moms.
Good on you, Baz.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure Big Lou's got another stick for you, right? Yeah. Next poster pick, your old man with the trophy. Every time I see your old man, I just think about the boobs on the back of his head.
Yeah, that was the same. That's the same trophy. That's that was on the way up, and this is what we won.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and that's because you know what, folks, when hockey is fun and fun is fun, then winning's fun. And when you see your owners with goal lights on helmets on their head, right? And they're having fun. And then you see, say, your bench coach's dad on the way to the game, you get sent pictures of like big boobs on the back of his head on the bus. And you're like, wow, hockey's fun again. I love playing hockey again. Playing in Cardiff is really fun. This is neat. Our owners are cool. The fans are cool. And I'm like, we're just all having fun. And then we went out and won, right?
Yeah, that's it. I mean, the owners did come flying in and set the tone, didn't they, with the
They set
goal
the
light
tone.
helmets and yeah, arranging that picture of my dad and then sending it to me just as we were about to walk on the bench. That was that was a good way to to settle the nerves.
Oh, dude, yeah, it's almost like to settle the nerves, right? It's almost like when we'd get all fired up for games, then there'd be like a naked guy jump out of the shower, spray painted, right, to settle the nerves. And you'd
Yeah.
be videoing it, you sicko.
Yeah, well, yeah, yeah, people wouldn't believe it otherwise.
No, at least I know I can trust you, right? Because
Yeah, they
I've
are
never,
locked down.
I
They've never come out, eh?
no, I've never heard of anybody saying they've seen my tallywhackers. That's good.
Apart from a request from Sam Duggan, but that had your permission.
But it is cool when old photos do surface that are appropriate to surface, right? Right? Like so I got sent my Daytona Beach Bombers rookie party pictures. Those ones were cool. Classy photos. I was dressed as a
Yeah.
girl, you know. I looked pretty that night. But then there's pictures I've been sent from Germany after we won the championship. And then I got the erotic photo shoot pictures now, and all of it is just so much fun to see that, right?
Have you got that photo shoot on? Because I heard the story, but
Oh,
the
I
photos
sure
have
I have every
surfaced,
month.
have they?
I have every month. Yeah, I'm not allowed to
Oh my
show them
God.
though. I'm not allowed to show anybody. That
No.
it was that like after that it was canceled there too, right? So there was enough Fraus
Yeah.
wives in Germany's that did not want
Yeah.
those pictures surfacing, so they didn't. But I have them,
Yeah.
and you know what? I've
Yeah.
thought about putting them up in the shed, but then you know there's lots of kids that come into the shed, and I don't think they need to see some of those
Yeah.
photos. So they're just in my email. Yeah. Good photos though.
Yeah.
Tasteful.
Yeah.
Tasteful. Um they'll
Yes. Yeah, I bet.
yeah. So one of it wasn't your last trip to the shed, but the one before you did come on after just claiming the playoff championship as a coach again with the new coach. So this was his first full season, right? He didn't need you. He moved on, got a
Yep.
different guy. So how do you feel like they've done? And like I don't know how it works. Are they on 1-year deals? Have they already re-signed? Is it something like they signed a 3-year deal, but they don't tell anybody till after each year? I don't know how it works, you know?
No, they- he's on a 1-year deal, so obviously we need to see what's going on for next year. But he's actually taken a lot of heat, as you can imagine, in Cardiff. That we finish in fourth place, so where are they going to direct the heat? And that goes to the coach. And it's really unfair in my book because I see I see how prepared he is. Reminds me a lot of Lordo in terms of the depth of the preparation. I see how kind of approachable he is, how he involves his players and stuff, and works so hard and would do anything to win. And we've fallen short this year. There's no doubt about it. We're not a fourth place team. Our record against the top sides is actually really good, but then we lost games that we shouldn't, and inconsistency sums up our season. But in amongst that kind of inconsistency, you get guys like Cole Sanford and Trevor Cox who are having career years. That they've managed to do that, and I personally would love to have played with Brody Dupont as a coach because I think he has a nice balance of the preparation without, going into kind of that overkill that just,
That
switches guys off.
sucks the fun out of it.
Yeah. Yeah, he's got a good balance behind that about, and giving you a bit of your own rope to go out there and do your thing because you're all players that have your own individual skills. But we've fallen short, there's no doubt about that. And it'll be an interesting summer in terms of our recruitment because we've got some holes that we need to fill to get competitive because we don't want to finish fourth next year. We want to win it again. And over here, the league is the big thing, and we need to be more competitive in that. So that's some adjustments that we'll make in the summer, and I hope that Brody gets the shot of doing that because what people forget as well is he is a first year coach, and
It's his
I think
first
there's a
year.
first year
Yeah,
coach
his first year.
in any sport that just goes in and just sweeps the board. I mean, Adam Keefe, who's doing well in Belfast and winning titles there, he finished fifth in his first year.
Yeah.
They're in fifth place. So if they get rid of Adam Keefe, they don't have the Adam Keefe era that they have now. You need to be able to have that ability to, try some things, do some things, learn from it, and get better. And speaking to, I speak all the time to Brody, and we go through the things that he's learned this year that sometimes in theory it sounds good and it seems like it would work, and then in practice there's so many other variables that impact things. So he's learned a ton from this year, knows what he needs to change for next year. And, I've no doubt that he'll do that.
It's interesting you say it talking like that. It's because so I'm coaching, the kids, and
Yep.
last season with the under 11 boys was my first year, and I learned a lot, how to do the speeches, how to talk to each kid, how to run practices, figuring out when a drill's not working, like switching it right away. You have an idea of a drill that might work, but then this year I thought it was really challenging myself with the under 9 gals house league team. And,
Yep.
it was trying to teach them how to love hockey and be hockey kids. But every year you learn more and you get better at what you're doing. And your first year, the guy, he got thrown into that position last year. And I think all the players buying into him as the coach and as their former teammate and wanting to win for him. And that's how you guys win last year. And it seems like the guys want to play for him from what I can see. And he's going to learn.
Yep.
It's only been 1 year, right? And geez, when I got to Cardiff, the fans seemed pretty happy when the start of the year we were in 7th place, right?
Yeah,
And then we worked our
exactly.
way up to second. And it's now you guys
Yep.
lose a game and I see all the negativity that comes out after a loss. I'm like, geez, it's just a loss. But when I went to Denmark, when you talk about underachieving and falling short, is when I went to Denmark, we hosted the Continental Cup in Voyance. We went, I think, 2 losses at a tie. They were not thrilled with that. We went to the Pokal final, and I think we lost 5. No, we lost in the final. I don't know what the score was. I think we lost big, 5-0 in the Pokal final. And then we're going into the final series, and we had this big in the playoffs, and we have this big speech about how we've fallen short every time. But then we won it. We figured out from those losses, and we won the championship. And then sometimes you got to lose to learn how to win, and especially as a first year coach, right?
Yeah, I was going to say exactly that thing. You learn a lot more when you're not successful than when you are successful, and it's been a big learning curve for Brody as it would do for any first year coach, and he's not stubborn that he doesn't know that he needs to adapt. He knows exactly what he needs to change for next year, playing wise, and if there's any systems or how he's managed things during the year. It's a learning, continual learning experience, and he's had that learning now. And I just think it would be unfair not to give him a shot for next year. It's my personal view. I mean, I don't ultimately make that call, but it's
Right.
he's shown me enough that he's got a huge heart and has a good hockey brain as well, that he'll adapt and learn from what has fallen short this year. to make sure that
Well,
we're
and
bigger and stronger for next year.
being willing to make the adjustments is one of the biggest things, right? It's the coaches I found that were unwilling to make any adjustments and just kept going down their path of this is how I'm doing it and this is how it's going to work, were the ones that, yeah, I was like, okay, you're not even doing anything. Like, let's switch something up here. But the other thing is with the league being the big one, and you start this season, and like one of my favorite shed guys I've ever had on, Samuel Jardine, though, is like he went there with big expectations this year and he got injured, and that sucks when the league's the big thing and you're missing a lot of games throughout a season. And like that, when you get hurt, it messes up the whole season for you. And then you also had that Kugler who everybody's expected huge things from, and he's battled injuries too. And like when you're trying to win the league, staying healthy is a huge part of it. And sometimes that's out of your control, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Cougs was on an 11 goal in 14 game streak just before he got hurt.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you take that from the team and you take a guy like Samuel Jardine from the team. And it's easy to say, oh, he should have got replacements. Well, those guys had concussions, which could have been a week. Turned out they were 12 weeks.
Yeah.
It's you can't just jump in and get a for somebody that could be back next week, and then you'd have to, with the wage cap and everything here, you'd have to let somebody go, and those guys wouldn't be the guys you'd let go, and it made it impossible to recruit to replace them. And we just had to be patient on that. So that's bad luck, and that's some of the things that dudes has had to deal with this year. I mean, when you lose that we were crying out for secondary scoring, and you've got a guy that's 11 goals in 14 games on the sidelines, then
well, that's a big hole.
It's no, yep.
So, who's playing goalie this weekend? Do you know?
Ooh, well,
all I saw is they both played about the same amount of
It will be
games.
Bouncy.
Yeah. Bouncy will get game one, you'd think.
Yeah. Yeah. Both guys have been, have had their moments where they've been incredible, and other times haven't been, quite at the level that they'd want to be. Bouncy has been playing more lately than Cozy. So I'd imagine that he would get the start on Saturday. He had a great way to end the season with that game in a game in Cardiff against Sheffield on the weekend, and you made 41 stops for that shutout. That's a big performance. But saying that, Cozy, a couple of weeks before that, he gets a shutout at home too. So, whichever guy we go with, the guys are happy with. So, I would just say probably with experience of the playoffs and stuff like that, Bouncy would probably get the nod.
Okay. Yeah, I just saw they played like the same amount of games, right? It's different than back when Bouncy just played every game for us, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Anyways, I got a question for you. What's your favorite Cardiff Devils season ever?
Oh man, what is my favorite card? I would say that first year in the tent, the first year of Todd's ownership and Steve King and those guys, your first year.
Yeah,
I think that was an incredible one. Just because you mentioned before that I had resigned that previous year, and because of the way things were being run, and they'd sacked Jared Adams, which was a disgrace, and then working hard behind the scenes to get the new ownership in place, and then to have that all come together in such a short space of time, and to recruit the team that we did with the personalities on that team, and then end up with a trophy as well. It was a fairy tale.
It
really was.
It was a wild time, and it was as fun as hockey got. I still like some of the stuff that would go on, right? Like you talk about Hoth driving Zamboni, but then it was like I think we tried to make it almost like Cabina Fest in Germany, and we had a practice, and then everybody stayed for like a couple beers or Secret Santa or something, and then geez, it was hours later. Lordo finds Carl, Hendo, and Deese like dressed as goalie, taking full shots at each other in goalie gear in the locker room with pucks.
And that's what probably added to that season is that because the expectations were so low, we could get away with a lot of things that you just simply couldn't now. And now that we're on this kind of where the expectations are through the roof, you just can't do
You can't have
stuff
as
like
much
that
fun,
that is
right?
super fun. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, you can't. So that year it was kind of like anything goes, and let's just see what happens. And that was Todd's um sort of his mantra on day one. He said, "We just want to restore the fun back into hockey in Cardiff. The fans have been through a lot with previous ownership. We just want to make it entertaining again." And yeah, I think we ticked the box on that one.
Well, and I think personally that you can't lose the fun just because you're expected to win all the times. This isn't from your team. I'm in contact with lots of teams, but a shed guy told me, he said something about, well, wherever I go next season. And I said, oh, okay, you're not going back to where you are. He said, no, I don't think so. People take it too seriously here, and it's not enough fun. And just because you're expected to win does not mean you can't have fun, because as soon as it's like that, you're going to be like the stressed out dudes in the NHL that go to the podium and look pale and miserable and have to talk about their losses. And like, it's winning's fun and fun is fun. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. But it is harder to do that kind of thing when the expectations are up. I mean, an example this year is that we had retro nights, and the guys all. I mean, the photo shoot or the video was taken in the week, so it was nothing to do with game time. And the guys all had these outfits on, and all from the
They
kind of
didn't dress up
70s,
for the
80s,
game like that.
90s.
I saw that video. That they didn't go to the game like that.
Yeah, but they did. I mean, that was all part of the kind of no, and but then that was kind of aired, and we lose the game, and then the
Because
comments
you
come
didn't
out. Well,
dress
no
like
wonder we
that
lost the
at the
game. It's
way to the
because the
game.
guys
If they dress like that and
are
go to
all
the
dressed
game,
up.
you can't lose, right? You're not going to
Oh,
lose a
but if
hockey
you
game
do, then
dressed like
people
that. Yeah.
blame that as the reason.
Well, you're not going to because you're
Then
having
people
fun.
blame that as the reason that you lose.
Well, it's true though.
I
That's how
agree.
people are. They're always going to find a way to blame it on something. But I think hockey players have to have fun to win.
Yeah.
That's
And
my
if you don't, yeah, yeah. And if you don't do stuff like that, then people say, "Oh, it's got boring now." Then nobody's having fun. So,
yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
it's
It's a balancing act, isn't it?
sometimes it's an unforgiving world. It's an unforgiving world sometimes. Yeah.
Well, when you show up for the season, there's got to be a big day. Halloween, gotta happen. Christmas, gotta happen, right? And then you buckle down and win
Yeah.
some shit. It's simple
Yeah.
routine.
That's it.
Start of the season's the biggest though for me. Whenever he gets into town, you gotta have some time
Yeah.
together in that preseason. Preseason's got to be pre-season,
Yeah.
if
Yeah.
you know what I mean.
Team
Right.
bonding goes a long way. Yeah.
Yeah. So, folks, after we win this weekend, wherever you are, if you're in the castle in Leeds, right? If you're in the storm shelter, and or if you're in Ice Arena Wales, is that what it's called now? What's your barn
Yeah.
called now? It's back to that.
Yeah.
So, folks,
Ice
bring
Arena
your
Wales. Yeah. Yeah.
chocolate. Bring your chocolate and bring a lot of it. And then please send me the video and say for my team and for your team, right? For my gals, right? It's got to happen.
Yeah. That's it. I'll try and get a video too. Yeah.
Okay. The only other thing really I got for you is, what is a normal day of director of hockey operations? What's going on now?
Uh, I don't think there is a normal day, but I mean, right now for me personally, I mean, obviously Dupes and Christian Horn, they run the day to day in terms of the coaching side of things and preparing guys for the weekend. I'm helping them out on a bit of analysis, but for me right now, it is with one eye on the next season in terms of player recruitment and identifying guys and pulling together lists of people we want to speak to, and kind of mapping out what holes we think we need to fill and which guys will do it. So that's my focus at the moment.
When is the Devils allowed to talk to players from other teams? Is there a rule?
I mean, I don't know if there is. I mean, I know teams do speak to other players on other teams before their season and contracts ended. We don't. We'll wait until that final weekend, and if there was someone on another team that we wanted, we would wait until that point. But it happens every year that players are contacted by other teams. So we try to do things the right way. And if we miss out on a guy because of it, then whatever. But we just try and do it the right way.
Okay, so like when you guys got Blair Riley out of Belfast, that was after the season then.
After the season, yeah. Yep.
Because in Germany, you could just do whatever, right? You could be signed with a different team at
Yeah,
Christmas for the next
and
year.
they announce it, don't they? I was yeah, Dupes was telling me about this, where you might be drawn in the playoffs against a team that one of your teammates already been announced as signing for the next year,
Yeah, oh yeah,
which
yeah,
is weird.
and I it happened to me. So I didn't sign with Bietigheim until like right when we were winning the championship or a couple days after, but I was
Yeah.
getting offers throughout the quarters and semis after the teams that we put out were offering me contracts for the next year. I'm in the middle of playoffs getting offered contracts from the teams we got put out, but then we go into the locker room before the first round. We're playing Bietigheim and all these news cameras around, and I'm like, what's going on with Geipe? Why is all the news cameras here? They're like, oh, he signed for Bietigheim next year. I'm like, that's the team we're playing. They're like, yeah, that's right. I'm like, really?
Yeah.
And they said, well, he's on their team next year, not this year. This year he's on our team. I'm like, oh, okay, fair enough.
So weird.
Well,
So
and then
weird.
the
I couldn't imagine that.
your own fans, like then they start chanting stuff at you, right? Like that they were
Yeah.
cheering for you and now they're not. And it's like, you don't need that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Just wait. Just wait a few weeks.
I didn't know what the rules were in the EIHL, Had no clue. So what do you think's in the future for the Devils? Like, obviously you've been part of the history, and now I know lots about the history from the shed. But like there's the time before the new owners, and now there's the time with it, and there's the new barn, and we've won a bunch, but where do you see this organization going? How far where can you take this now? Like, do you just keep trying to get a bigger budget and beat Belfast and the Sheffields and
Yeah, I mean, budget is one thing. I mean, we've got a healthy budget, and we take it to the wage cap. So it's that's one thing, but it's about always fine tuning your recruitment, and I think the big thing is getting your team to evolve and not doing it in one big go. I mean, you mentioned before about we had Andrew Hotham and then he retires. It's a huge hole to fill. However, we already had Gleason Fournier, sitting in the background waiting for that opportunity to be the guy. And I like that kind of continuity. I like the fact that we've got guys like Trevor Cox, Cole Sanford, Jake Kugler, who are young guys who when the unthinkable day happens that the goat decides that he's had enough, then you want guys to be able to step into his shoes, and so I like that kind of continuity. So yeah, I mean, nothing ever gets old about trying to win. Even if we won it 4 times in a row, it doesn't matter. We'd want to win it a fifth time in a row, and it just makes the challenge becomes harder and harder because everybody's gunning for you. So yeah, we'll never get bored at trying to sort of
yeah,
meet
at
that challenge.
competing is fun. And you're right though, is
Yep.
that there's some healthy competitors in that league, and it looks like the league's pretty even, right? Almost any team can beat anybody nowadays, and every team does do whatever they can to win, right? And every year you got to adjust based off what they're doing, what you're doing, right? You've been recruiting shed
Yeah,
guys for
yeah, for
years
definitely. I
though.
mean, yeah, yeah. It's yeah, the league. I think the gaps between the top and the bottom teams in the league is definitely narrowed a lot. It makes it a lot harder because there's no givens that you can just kind of take for granted. Um, it's good to see a team like Guildford pushing so hard for the league championship this year. That puts in another run. Previously it was a certain bunch of teams that were competing. Now Guildford's in the mix. Nottingham with their budget, they're not going to be happy with a seventh place finish. So they're going to want to do something big for next year and get back up there. So it's and Glasgow are a big team too. They finished in eighth place. They just squeezed the playoffs. So, they need to somehow make sure that that doesn't happen again next year. So it just every year is a new challenge, and it's one that we have to rise to, and that's the thrill of the job, isn't it? When you've got that competitiveness, and that's the kind of stuff that gets the juices flowing.
Well, it does take everybody to win, and it takes, after a loss, it takes the fans not being so negative and not being so angry, and it takes them supporting the team through ups and downs, and it takes the players not getting too high and low, and it takes everybody to just be a team together, to be a family, to win, right?
Yeah, and there's only a certain amount of trophies up for grabs, so there's only a certain amount of teams that can win them. I mean, Belfast have got 2 out of the 3 so far, so that means that
There's only one
7 other
more.
teams that are looking for their first trophy of the season.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and Belfast want to take that one too. So it's we've been so fortunate, and it's through a lot of hard work and great ownership and management that we've competed so well since the new era, and we've won trophy. We won the last three playoff championships, which is incredible. Before that, we were winning the league. Um, it's it's amazing to have won all those trophies, but they're not just handed to you, and there's other teams that are desperate to snap them out of your hands too. So it's not there's no given right to win a trophy. It's got to be earned, and that's the challenge that we put ourselves up for every year.
Yeah, and it's neat for me to watch from over here. I was there just near the start, and to see how much stuff has been won, and it's how it like this all has gotten as big as it's gotten, right? It's because the Cardiff Devils are who they are now. That there's that many people listening when I have people on, and it's because of winning championships, right? It's like getting invited back overseas, now I guess like 7 times now is because you won, right? And people get invited back when they win. It's like guys don't stay for testimonials for 10 years unless they had success, and they don't get jerseys retired in Germany unless they won. And it takes winning to like winning is what it's all about. And like it is really hard to win, but when you do it, man, is it worth it, right?
Yeah, oh, for definite. You hit the nail on the head there. And it's so guys only stay on the team for so long if it's successful. Otherwise, the management will naturally want to make those changes. And guys only stay engaged with the club, and your teammates too. You win with teammates, and you got that bond forever, and those are the ones that you keep in contact with the most. So it's such a huge thing, but it's a tough thing as well. But it's what we're all bred to do, I guess. We're all
A bit
competitive,
competitive,
and
just a bit.
yeah, just a bit, yeah.
Yeah. But you know what? Hockey's got to stay fun. And you know what I think's fun for fans is bringing chocolate and chucking it on the ice. I think that's fun, and hockey's supposed to be fun. So I think this weekend, folks, bring your chocolate, right? For my gals, for your team, right? Get involved, folks. Fun is fun, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And this is
Montero.
and
Let's
the
fill it out
Mintero,
again.
folks, and twirls for the girls, not whirls, folks. I've been corrected. I didn't know what I'm talking about because I've never had one. And this has been another episode of Zero Ales and Hockey Tales with Franny and Wally.